We're coming up to the 10th anniversary of the EU Charter on Fundamental Rights. It came into binding force in 2009 with the Lisbon Treaty. It's still very much in its infancy. At 10 years, we see something of its character, we see something of its potential, and there are hopes, but there are also challenges. And we're coming towards those teenage years, and perhaps some more of its character is what we're going to be seeing next.
The Charter has content that perhaps breaks new ground. Its affirmation of human dignity, for example. It's helpful language about that, for example, in the area of prohibiting human trafficking, the prohibition of eugenic practices and so on.
We cannot have one strong union with different understandings of the human rights, of the concept of dignity, freedom, solidarity, equality. And I think we need more conceptual work. We have to discuss what these concepts means. My idea is that we have to reconsider what the respect for human dignity means in new political, technological, cultural context.
Jurisprudence should always respect and reflect member states' traditions, the importance of the principle of subsidiarity, the idea of the area of the margin of appreciation to allow, where there isn't a consensus around the content of human rights and their implications, countries and to continue with their traditions within an overall human rights context.
On the big picture level, the human dignity concept is actually to be used to be the founding pillar of all ethical thinking when it comes to new technologies. Why? Because this is the only way for us to make sure to guarantee that citizens will not be considered as consumers, for one, or as objects that can be sorted, scored, and you name it. So this is this space where we're trying to make sure that every single person has access to these technologies, but as well that they're respected, non-discriminated, non-sorted, and that the privacy is fully respected.
We don't need to affirm the benefits of our technological advance. They're all around us. It's really, really important. But we need to constantly reflect on all the ways in which technology risks making our society less human. And I don't just mean the role of artificial intelligence and bots and algorithms and all of that, but if one thinks about the abusive exchanges that sometimes take place on social media among people who would be much more polite to each other face to face, for example.
I mean, one of the things that we see at a European Union level is that some of these fundamental rights are under threat. So when it comes to freedom of expression, we have things like the Commission's Code of Conduct and the almost celebration at how quickly online platforms are taking down so-called hate speech. But the question is, what should we do about it? In particular, what should the state do about it? And I think we're in very, very dangerous territory when we're using essentially an undefined term, or at least one that's subject to very, very subjective interpretation like hate speech, and taking down vast swathes of internet content, sometimes by humans, sometimes by algorithm, because it falls foul of some definition. And I think that's a dangerous place for us to be, and we see examples of that in European history, and we see examples elsewhere in the world where we say if the state beyond the union is censoring speech because it criticises the government, that's inappropriate. Well, where's our principled platform to challenge those kinds of actions if we within Europe are taking action that maybe isn't censoring speech that challenges the government, but are censoring speech that falls outside of the mainstream orthodoxy?